It's Thumbscark 11, ignore Noah there. You saw the title and must be thinking, it's so broken though. And you'd be right, Signifer is really broken and completely changes the game balance once you get it. It's just bad compared to other classes after you get it. So there's a lack of accessible, up-to-date build resources on Xenoblade 3. The best known ones are really outdated from around launch, and the most up-to-date and comprehensive is a guide document that's just not too well known outside the Discord server where it was made. That document will be linked in the description if you want a lot more detailed information, but this will be a guide on one of the core concepts of Xenoblade 3 class building, buff support. We're going to start off with talking about what makes Signifer so good and what makes it so bad. So first up, what's so broken about Signifer? A lot of you probably already know this, so I'll keep it quick. Signifer has Oriole to apply a random buff and Resonant Flag to share any of its buffs with the whole party. You can very easily spam this, since they're both pretty low cooldown arts, to just have the entire party stacked up with nearly every single buff there is, which doesn't need much explanation for why that's so broken. So what then could possibly be bad about this? Well, here's the animation for Oriole. It's kinda slow. So Oriole is an incredibly broken art that has the downside of being pretty slow to happen, so it seems like fair balance, right? Well, Oriole is also a master art, and so is Resonant Flag, which means you can run Oriole and Resonant Flag together on any Kavesi class, meaning any Kavesi class can do the exact same thing that Signifer does. So let's say, for example, you have War Medic, and you use Oriole fused with Heal Bullet. Here's how fast you can get an Oriole out with Heal Bullet. Much faster than just using Oriole by itself. So what makes Signifer quote-unquote bad is that Medic Gunner, War Medic, and Lapidaris can all do the exact same job as Signifer, do it faster than Signifer can, have better base arts like Cure Bullet, equip another Agnian art like Ring of Roses, which is a much better field than Heal Harmony, and have better skills while doing it. But wait, you say, Signifer can have Cross Impact as its only damaging attack so that it will always have Power Charge to pass with Resonant Flag. Well, yeah, War Medic can do that exact same niche too by having no damaging attacks. And it can just get Power Charge from other sources such as Oriole, or the part we're going to get into next. So do you know what's even better than a bunch of random buffs though? A bunch of the best buffs, all guaranteed at higher values, with just 4 arts, meaning no actual grinding or farming required. You only need to pick up these 4 specific arts. Soulhacker has 6 of the best buffs in the entire game, all provided guaranteed at the same time at the start of the battle. No need to pull them one at a time from Oriole first. You get attack up, crit rate up, fast recharge, critical damage up, power charge, and defense up, plus clearing debuffs, all from just 4 arts that you can use at the start of a fight. That's a lot more buffs in a short amount of time than Signifer or any Kavesi class using Oriole can do. But wait, there's more. With just a single skill, buffs provided by a Soulhacker will have a stronger effect than those same buffs provided by any other class. With strength support, this stacks with the buff strength gem of a similar effect. You get a 35% higher value out of any buff effect that Soulhacker applies than what any other class can apply with the same buff. So Soulhacker crit rate up will have higher crit rate boost than anyone else's crit rate up. Soulhacker Power Charge will give a higher damage boost than a Cross Impact or Oriole provided Power Charge. This means that a Soulhacker will always have better buffs than anyone else, and it has the best buffs, and its buffs are guaranteed. So it just does Signifer's job drastically better. So with all the main points out of the way, is just a few extra things to note. First, should you only use a Soulhacker then, since it's so much better? No, it's best to use both a buff Soulhacker and a Flagger, as they're commonly referred to. This way you cover all the buffs not covered by Soulhacker. and the Soulhacker buffs can be spread around to the rest of the party for anyone who's not in AoE range of the Soulhacker initially. And as mentioned earlier, if you have the setup for it, you can infinitely pass around Power Charge this way, since you're getting the stronger Power Charge from a Soulhacker. The second is, while I mostly talked about Signifer here because it's the one best known for how broken it is, all of this really applies to Troubadour as well. So you can take Ring of Roses, Glittering Melody, and Swift Song, and put those on the same Kavesi healer you're running Oriole and Resonant Flag, and this way you can combine both Troubadour and Signifer into a single class with any Kavesi healer. And the last thing is, none of this really applies to Fiona. No other heroes are going to have access to the Signifer arts, so Fiona is still extremely good as a hero. And lastly, for anyone wondering if I'll be doing class build guides to go with this, I won't be doing that because builds in Xenoblade 3 are very homogenized. Every class has a few different common builds they run, but most of them are very similar to other classes that would run similar builds to fulfill a similar role, so it would just become very redundant content if I were to have a video on every single class going over their builds, and it would just end up being mostly the same things in a set of videos. For example, all the Kavesi healers, they're all going to be built the same if you're building them as a buff support, so the video for all the Kavesi healers would end up just going over the same things that I already covered in this video, so I will be trying to do more of these build concept videos like this one. Since this covers multiple classes at the same time, it goes over what you would actually be running and then what classes work for that, rather than what to do for each individual class, since the classes are pretty much built the same if they're going for the same role. There's just going to be minor differences from what they have as part of their base kits. For example, War Medic has, as mentioned earlier, the ability to pass around Power Charge, which makes it more unique compared to the other Kavesi healers. But then Medic Gunner has Power Ring, which is the most useful field out of all the Kavesi healers. So the only real difference you're getting out of them is what the base kit has and not what you're actually building them for. But if you do want specific builds for every class, you can check out the document that I mentioned earlier that's in the description. The Xenoblade 3 post-game combat guide has builds for every single class, all the common builds for each one of them, and some general advice on how to use them, what the equipment on each of them is for, etc. So if that's what you're looking for, then you should check out the guide down there. And again, I'll just be having more build concept guides like this one, so maybe something like how you would build evasion tanks, how you would build combo supports, and what classes work for all those. And if you want to see all the other Xenoblade 3 guides that I've done, then you can check out the playlist that'll be linked up on screen now. If you watched the end, comment Blossom Dance down below, and see you next time!